So you think you've seen everything as far as builds come in Diablo 2 Resurrected. Well, I got 5 builds today that I challenge you. Have you seen any of these builds before? One of them, unless you religiously follow my channel, you've probably never seen anyone play this or ever use it, because I invented this build myself and I don't think anyone else has ever played it before. Now the first one we got set up here is actually, you see the skill right here, Charged Bolt Sorceress. Yes, for endgame, when you have great gear and you get it set up right, this thing absolutely actually wrecks. Now, pretty much, as you'd probably suspect, you just max out Charged Bolt, you max out a synergy, and of course Lightning Mastery, get that damage as high as possible. Now besides that, the gear-wise is set up pretty much exactly like an endgame Energy Shield Nova Sorceress, and you get all that minus res, you get a ton of plus skills, a ton of damage. It absolutely rocks. Now, just to show you what's going on with it, let's just test it out on P1 here in a simple area right off the bat. Let's go ahead and get our energy shield up, actually, huh? But this is no static, just melts the whole group. But yeah, that was just players 1, right? Well, how about we set it to players 8? We actually fully use the skills. We'll actually possibly use static here. Static them down, telestomp, blast, blast. Well, there you go. Pack's gone. That's as hard as it gets. Now, how about the Chaos Sanctuary? Now, I did set just to kind of for the example gameplay here, this to players 3 difficulty, but you can see even one of the, we'll say one of the harder places in the game. Chaos Sanctuary is known for great place to magic find, great place to get experience. Yeah, you can just shotgun everything right down like that. Boom, boom, boom. We'll show you a couple more packs and we'll move on to the big dog at the end, Diablo himself. As you can see with this kind of stuff, it works pretty dang good. And now Diablo's up and ready to go, and because of the way this works, the way these things shotgun out, actually against bosses, if you can get the right angle, it's all about getting the right angle, am I right? You can actually shotgun them down pretty dang quick with this. So yeah, Charged Bolt Sorceress, have you ever played it before? Look how good it is. Let's move on to the next build. Right here, we're looking at a paladin that's actually using some sort of bow. It's a crossbow. Well, this is kind of crazy. Yeah, this is the Fire Ranger Paladin right here. You take advantage of this bow right here you use on the Enchant Sorceress, where you get all the fire damage from your enchant and your fire mastery and such, and you go ahead and that applies to the exploding arrow on this. Well, the same thing kind of applies when you have the fire aura, because that fire damage then hits everything that explosion touches, and you get all the damage from the fire aura onto that massive explosion radius. Now this is also great to use because it has a 66% chance to pierce, and on top of adding 33% here, you got 99%, and that's really close to 100. Like, real close. There's other budget options used, but let's hop out there and show you how good this works. We'll just start off with a super weak area right here. Blast, blast, blast. The pack is gone. Just gone. Well, why don't we go after one more pack here. Overseer. Oh my goodness. Just delete it. Now, this is one I got to do a full build guide and showcase in the future because, man, it's pretty cool, to be perfectly honest. But, I mean, the main thing, you max out Holy Fire and its synergies. And then from there, you kind of do whatever you want because you don't have to max out Holy Shield because, well, you don't have a shield, am I right? But this Holy Fire just gets you a ton of damage. Well, here we are. We can't just do it on P1. How's that on P7 in this? Well, let's be honest, a pretty easy area, but how good does it work here? Now, I said P7, but it's actually players 8, and there you can see the explosions. Not as fast as P1 here, and it's not perfectly min-max, I'm going to be perfectly honest, but this is players 8 difficulty, putting out quite a bit of damage. Now, this is fire damage. Here's another great place to test it, and we're still on players 8 difficulty. Blast, blast, blast.
I started blasting. Bah, bah.
Those packs are gone. We can hop over here. We did put points into Vigor to move faster that way. We also have Teleport from our Enigma, but man, look how good this works. Stony Tombs is a great area for any build that does fire damage. You can kind of see how good it does work here. Even players 8 difficulty, we're really popping the packs down quite quickly. So this is definitely one, if you do like that Enchant Sorceress, or you've never played this Fire Ranger Paladin or whatever, this plays essentially exactly the same. Very, very similar. So if you like that one, you're going to like this one too. And do remember, I'll just mention one more quick time here. This is players 8 difficulty. So if you're going to areas that are good for fire builds, it doesn't get any harder than this. Now you probably know what the glow on this one right here means. It means we're actually rocking on this one full Mavinas. And it's not just like one standard build, not the Ice Maiden, not the Fire Exploding Arrow. This is actually dual spec full Mavinas Boazon. Now, how exactly do we get there? Well, we use the freezing arrow and then we max out the cold arrow synergy because the ice arrow just adds to the freeze length, and I don't much care about that, to be honest. So we max out the freezing arrow and we max out that synergy, and then we come over and max out exploding arrow with the fire arrow synergy. So it only has one. Now, immolation arrow, you could use that one or whatever, but I think that this exploding arrow actually probably works out better. As for the other things, go ahead and max out Pierce. With the plus skills we have, we got it up to 93%. The higher, the better, of course. 1 point down the middle. Jabs, don't worry about it. Important to note, you got the partial set bonus here anyways, 20 to cold skill damage. So the cold arrow really does rock quite well. So for those of you who maybe you don't get the Sunder Charms and whatnot, you like being dual spec, and I mean, let's be honest, Fulma Venus is incredibly cheap. This could be a good build for you to try out. Now we're back to just P1 out here. These guys are immune to cold, so we're going to want to go ahead and use the fire arrow. See, it works pretty good. Maybe not quite as powerful as the other one, but still can be incredibly fun to play. Who doesn't like playing a nice Boazon? Cold arrows, you can see them right there on that normal pack. These hulking guys, absolutely melt them. Oop, these guys are immune to cold. Let's swap over to the fire and take these guys out. So we're blasting, Shank the Overseer. Down he goes. So there you go. That's a good example right there of the cold arrow. And then if you need to, whip out that fire arrow. Now here's that arrow that's good for fire and also good for cold built in. We got both of those, so we can really rock it down here in the Stony Tombs. I bumped it up just a little bit to Players 3 difficulty. Really for this build, maybe it's not as crazy powerful end game, but Players 3 is where I enjoy farming with this. So you're down here, you can blast the cold arrow first off. You can see it takes them out relatively well. Like I said, it's not quite as powerful as, you know, the Energy Shield Nova Sorceress, the Hamburger and such, or you can go ahead and shoot the fire ones as well. Both of these will work down in this area. And you can see we're up to Players 3 difficulty. You can see how well it works. You can kind of make your own judgment on that, but it definitely clears, and you can have a great time bouncing back and forth between the fire and the cold arrow. Ooh, little Ashuda's Temper. 3 to skills too.
Nice.
Let me know in the comments how fun you think it looks or how good you think it looks, but let's move on to the next build that you've probably never seen, and that is this big dog right here. We're actually playing an endgame leap attack barb. Yes, endgame leap attack barb. You're maxing out leap attack and its synergy of leap, of course. Get 1 point down to Berserk for those pesky little physical immunes when you need it. Combat mastery, we are using a sword right here, so we got Blade Mastery, whichever weapon you end up using. If you end up having an axe as the base for your rune word or your unique you're using or whatever, maces, etc., the 1 point wonders, and of course battle orders, and of course the find item points over here, because you got to be using that find item skill on a barb or you are failing at Diablo 2. The gear is super similar to, like, we'll say like a Zerker, Grief, and over here for a Storm Shield. Champ Darts is kind of expensive. Fortitude, max damage charms down here. We got a bunch of 218s really. You know, so pretty much set up just like a Grief Zerker. So you could go with teleport on it if you wanted to, but I figured since we had the leap attack, we didn't need teleport, right? Now, once again, the barb generally not going to be like a Player's 8 Slayer, because what you do is you take out monsters on P1, and then you utilize the find item skill and get another chance at finding items. So you actually end up with an effective, better drop rate because of the utilizing the find item skill. So all of this example gameplay is just going to be P1, because I usually recommend just for barbs only play Players 1. But you can see it does work relatively well here on Players 1, taking stuff out. It does have that area of effect when it lands, that damage right there, but it also does a ton of damage to the initial monster when you make contact. You can see most of the time, if you go ahead and land on a standard monster, it just one-hits them every time. And it also does a radius of effect of damage on the other monsters as well. So let's go ahead and hit another classic for the Barbarian, and that's out here at Pindle. There he is. Get him once. We're hitting a couple of the other monsters. Oh, don't know how that one didn't hit him, but Mercenary cleared him up. That's okay. But yeah, that's not too bad. And of course, never forget to use that find item skill. And now, even though I hate it, doesn't mean it's not a good area. People like to use it. So let's go ahead and look out here at Trav, hitting some of the council members. 1 hit, 2 hit. I took that guy out. Wow. So it worked a little bit better than I even thought right there. Now it's going to be a little bit slower than some other stuff, you know what I'm saying? So just jump, 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 leap attack, leap attack, leap attack. We'll get them out for sure, and we're in no danger since we do actually have a Storm Shield on. And if there's any immune to physicals, we can go ahead and use the Berserk skill as well. Just go ahead and hit them a few times with that. Right there, he was Stone Skin, and we just chopped him right out. And of course, hitting the find item on him. Maybe we'll get a high rune for the video. Come on! Not looking that way, unfortunately. But we got one more build for you, and this is the one that I invented myself, and I'm pretty sure no one has ever like played it before me. It's one of my tried and true creations, and that is this character right here. Now, this is a Corpse Explosion summon. Wait a second, Phil. This is a druid, though. What do you mean Corpse Explosion summon? Corpse Explosion summon druid. Yes, you heard me right. We utilize charges on certain pieces of gear. There is an armor called Corpsemorn that has Corpse Explosion charges on it. But there's another one, the beautiful, unique Ogre Axe, the Bone Hue. Comes with those 30 Corpse Explosion charges right there. Level 14, so it has a reasonably good radius. Now, the Corpsemorn has more Corpse Explosion charges, but is lower level, I believe. And also, you can go ahead and keep a second one in your inventory. I go ahead and double hell it, so it's minus requirements, so you can go ahead and use it easier, because all you're using on this item, all you're using is those charges. I guess that one was a little behind me, don't worry about it, but all we're using is these charges. Now, besides that, it's set up pretty much like every caster you see. I got a Shaco on and some stuff like that. So let's see it in action. It does have a little bit of a wind-up period here, so we have all of our different summons, so we got a whole little herd rocking out here. Go ahead and, hey, we'll even bring up ravens. That's going to be up to you. But for the skills, summons, you're just maxing out your summons right down the middle. Your elemental skills, you don't have to put anything over here. You could sacrifice one of the summons and get some cyclone armor or hurricane. I went ahead and don't worry about it. You get enough safety from all these summons and shapeshifting. You do nothing with it. I went ahead and went with Heart of the Wolverine to get more damage, attack rating and damage out of my summons to get the first kill faster and then start corpse exploding. It's going to be up to you which one you want to use, I suppose. So let's go ahead and charge out with them right here. Let's put them next to the pack and start blowing up the bodies. Corpse explode, corpse explode, corpse explode. It works exactly like the Corpse Explosion Necromancer. There's really no difference. You might be wondering, why did I pick up this gear and why don't I have a bunch of skillers? And that's kind of because this cost 57,000 gold, see it right next to me here, to replenish those charges. And that's just for taking out a couple of little packs. Now we got those full charges back, but we got to make up that 50k gold. If you use all the charges on both of these bone hues, you're well over 100k. That actually, those charges disappear really quick. So I kind of always keep an inventory slot open. Go ahead and identify and sell some stuff. That stuff really wasn't worth the most, but I save up amulets, armors, things that sell, maybe staves and orbs, wands that sell for a good amount of gold. So I can constantly be replenishing those charges. So I went ahead and bumped it just to players 3. I mean, players 7 with a Corpse Explosion build, you could do it, but, you know, let's just go with this. This is what I recommend. And yeah, I'm actually going after Neelithak. Now, what you can do is kind of put your summons up by him. You just back up, you wait till one gets dropped, and you kind of beat him to the punch. Corpse Explode, Corpse Explode, Corpse Explode, and take Neelithak out, farming those keys. Now, that did use half of the charges here, but you can repair it between pretty much every run if you need to, or you can just move on to the next area. Now, if you are doing a little bit larger of an area, here we're marching the Cast Sanctuary, let's start popping some bodies, and let's say, hypothetically, we take out a couple packs here, 4, 3, 2, you see it going down, pop up, shift, a click, and you send the other one over, and now we have a full new set of 30 Corpse Explosion charges. Now, generally, in my opinion, you're not going to be running large areas like this. A lot of times it's going to be Eldritch and Shank, and then maybe go take out something like Neelithak, and then go ahead and move on to the next run, because you got to go back and fully repair all of these charges. And just as an example, let's get another okay pack, whatever, we'll go right here. We're already down to 19 charges right here. We're getting some shattering of the bodies, because we did get the cold aura. Really, you want to have the might aura. I grabbed the wrong mercenary, do forgive me. So that's actually slowing us down slightly. But yeah, this is a build, and I'll put a full link in the description to the actual full build guide and the full build showcase with everything like min-maxed or whatever. But it's very interesting, very different, and this is one that I kind of take credit for inventing myself. I don't know pretty much who else would be a lunatic enough to build their entire build around charges. But Corpse Explosion is insanely powerful. Whether you're new or an OG, let me know any of these builds that you have never seen before or never played for. And if you have any builds that are super crazy, interesting, maybe off the beaten path that you think no one's ever heard about. Peace out, fellas, and keep slaying.